Have you ever been so exhausted of the conversation surrounding like relationship with Jesus being fear and anxiety and worry and dread? And I'm like, oh my gosh, when do we get to the good part? There are moments in life, in my own life, where the Lord literally walked me through what felt like an identity crisis. You experience the things like anxiety and depression and fear and worry. There's scriptures all in the Bible about joy and peace and happiness. I used to ask the Lord all the time, like, when do we get to that part? Because everything up until this point has been excruciatingly painful, what has felt dehumanizing and anxiety filled. I think we forget about seasonal aspects of life. I'm learning in my relationship with him now that there are moments when he nudges you to release things. There are moments when he calls you to a people or a place and asks you to be patient and trust him. But I'm also saying that the Lord is not a micromanager, and that what I didn't understand was that he was actually building my foundation. It wasn't that I would never experience pain or never experience anxiety or depression in the future or while walking with him. It was my basis from which I viewed those situational circumstances. That was the part that was faulty. We get so caught up in this lingo about, waiting on the Lord, and he'll make a way and he'll open a door, as if he hasn't already done those things. And so in my reflection time, I'm like, there's got to be something that I'm missing, because it cannot be that life with him is so burdensome and always about suffering and all of these things, when the Bible is speaking about the joy of the Lord. I was reading about one of the times when Paul was like locked up and he's like singing in the middle of being in prison. And I'm like, what soup is he drinking? Because I need that. As I was reading that, the Lord spoke to me so clearly. And he said to me, Deanna, the foundation of everything that you walk into, whether good or bad, from your perspective, must originate from your true identity and the love that I have for you. Because in that place, anything can come and go. People can walk into your life and leave your life. You can get fired from a job, move to a new place, have no friends. And if those two things are intact, you'll still experience the joy of the Lord and the peace that passes understanding. I just recently came out of a period of my life where most people would be like, girl, how are you smiling? Why are you smiling? And I would respond to them and say, like, I don't actually know. It's something that God has done within me. He has continued to like mold and chip away things that will fade anyways and replaced it with something more secure. So yeah, it sucks when people come and go from your life, or yeah, it sucks when you have to start over, or yeah, it sucks when things didn't go the way that you planned. But I look back over the last 3 years and I see his time and attention to cultivating this foundation in me of my identity and what his blood has done for me. I didn't realize that several years later, I was going to continue to face things that would take a regular person out. And I don't say that to boost me up. It has all to do with him leading me beside still waters and making me sit down. He makes us sit down in green pasture. I'm thankful to him for that, looking back on it now, because there would have been no way that I could have sustained the waves that I just took over the last couple of months without that solid foundation. And as he was building that foundation, I was impatient. I didn't want to be in that place. I complained. I was angry. Thought that I should be further along than I was, failing to realize that he was solidifying something within me. Little did I know I was going to be able to walk through, like Paul, being in prison and continue singing. I think sometimes we look at it the opposite way. We're wanting the joy and the peace and all the goodness, of God. But sometimes he'll deposit that within you in periods of waiting or intense development, obscurity even, because he knows what's coming ahead. He knows that you will have needed that time to be cultivated. And he understands that that living water, that joy that only he can place within you, is literally what will sustain you through situations that should take you out. So when I say to myself, when do I get to the joyful part? Like, when do I get to be happy and have peace and laughter? All those things, that comes with the foundation that he solidifies in you. And it's not swayed by the ebbs and flows of life. It doesn't crumble when part of your identity begins to fade. It isn't enhanced when you experience the good moments in life. It is a constant. It's consistent. Everything that you're enduring right now is because he's depositing a joy and a peace within you that is actually unshakable. So you'll be like Paul in the prison singing when he had just been beaten bloody. If you think about it, there had to have been something so profound deposited within this man for him to sing. It was his singing that released others. There was an actual gravitational shift that happened when he opened his mouth because of what was deposited within him. That's the kind of joy that I want. And that's the kind of joy he's depositing within you. You just might not see it yet. The purpose of this place is not to omit the suffering, but for the joy to remain a constant. And that is something only he can deposit within you.